So I know you shoot matches too, right? Like, what kind of
Yeah.
sports do you shoot? Like
Uh,
Steel
right now,
Challenge?
right now I'm doing Steel Challenge. Well, right now I'm not. My cart's out, so I'm not doing nothing. But Steel Challenge is my favorite game right now. So
I know you used to play like IDPA, or
yeah,
did you ever
then
step into?
IDPA. I never did IPSC or USPSA. There's a lot of movement and stuff in that one. Uh, I did Cowboy Action. I like Cowboy Action a lot. Uh, but then with my shoulders and stuff, it's a lot of work doing it now. So uh, actually, I did three gun back in the day too. I really like three gun. But again, it was a lot of movement. My shoulders aren't what they used to be. They do a new thing now. I got the honor of being invited to. They do a thing called Battle Buddy three gun, and that's for disabled shooters. And basically, you disabled shooters and able body shooters get together and shoot a three gun match. And when it's the disabled shooter's turn, they get in this like wheelchair that has a handle on the back of it, and one of the other able-bodied guys pushes them through the course, so that guy can just so the disabled shooter can just focus on shooting. And it's awesome. And we got to go do. I got to go do it out at Jerry Miculek's private gun range there. Uh, so out in Louisiana, so we got to hang out with Miculek, and he taught us how to shoot three gun one day, and then the next day we all went and shot a match with them, and it was a real good time.
Oh
Uh,
man,
so that's real fun. So I want to get involved with those guys, with the Battle Buddy guys, and so just talking to them and trying to figure out, they're getting everybody's input on like how can we make this more accessible for everybody, and they're real cool about that because the thing that we figured out on day one when we were doing the classes is I can't shoot a shotgun anymore. Like I used to shoot trap and sporting clays and all that stuff, and I can't do it anymore because of my shoulder injury and my right arm. Like it just I can't do it. I'm getting older now and my body's falling apart. And so we figured out, all right, well, you can't shoot shotgun. That's fine. And then with the rifle's not that big a problem. 5.56, I've been shooting that forever, and there's hardly any recoil in it. But the gun weight kind of starts getting to me, and so they actually got Lena Miculek's 9mm carbine that she uses, and so I ran that for the first half of it, and then my arms were starting to wear out, and so I actually ran the last half of the three gun match with just a handgun. So I was shooting the rifle targets out, like the out rifle targets with a handgun. They're like, whatever, you shoot him, you shoot him. So I ran the rest of the course with just a handgun because that's what worked for me. And so,
oh man, that's legit, dude. Tell me more about that weekend that you spent with Jerry and Lena Mitchell.
so that first day we did a class with him, and so he taught us all how to shoot three gun. We started with handgun, went to shotgun, shot some rifle, and I mean I've shot and trained with a lot of people over the years, and it was weird, but I kind of learned more from him in those 8 hours we spent than I've probably learned in the last 10 years of doing this. Just because of his insights on stuff, and he kind of changed the way I think about certain things that we kind of ingrain into ourselves and then don't try to move away from. He's like, no, I do it like this. And I was like, oh wow, I've never even thought about doing it that way. And it's like, huh. And so it really made me think about like all the things that I've kind of ingrained into my training and kind of stuck to and not really experimented and changed. And so he had a lot of really good insights on that. I'm like, well, this guy is probably one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. So I'm gonna listen to what he says. And I started applying it and it was like, wow, like I saw improvements just in those 8 hours. So that was great. Then the next day we did our match, and so we shot the match with them, and he gets in the chair and they push him around, and he does it all from the chair, so you can do
That's
it like we
awesome.
do it. And like, yeah, he still beat us all. Like his times were ridiculous, but uh, yeah, it was just a good time. It was just hanging out at his range and shooting, and it was a really well put together match. And like, if you're in a wheelchair or disabled in any way, that's the guys to go seek out right now is the Battle Buddy guys. Like, if you want to do competitive shooting, they are set up for you. They bring the wheelchairs there. They got people to help you. Uh, I can't transfer into those chairs by myself just because the way they're set up, and so they help me move over into those chairs. Like everybody's super helpful, and like they want to get you in there, and they help load megs for everybody, and yeah, like you'll get well taken care of if you get in touch with those guys.
And that's in Arkansas, correct?
No, I think they're based out of South Carolina.
Okay.
I think that's where their home base is, but they do matches all over the place. So, and they're trying to expand. They've been going for a few years now, so they're just trying to get bigger and bigger. And they need help. Like even if you're not disabled, they need help. They need people to go shoot matches with them and help out. So if you're looking to volunteer, that's something to help out with. So
Yeah. Like, where would we look for something like that to help out? Like, is it
yeah,
battlebuddy.com or
Battle Buddy 3 gun with the number 3.
battlebuddy 3gun with the
Yep,
number 3.com?
yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try to put that into the description of the video. Dude, that's incredible.
Yeah,
That's
those
awesome.
guys are amazing. Like those guys really have a passion for it.
Man, that's
And so a
fantastic.
lot of the guys that I was with, it was actually most of the disabled shooting community ends up being pretty small when events are going on. So the same guys that I was up with at the ADSS up in SIG, most of those guys were, well, not most, I would say probably 90% of the guys that I was down there with at the Battle Buddy 3 gun are all the same guys. So it's a real close knit community that's growing because now we have that kind of yearly thing we do up at SIG together. And so it's getting to become a tight knit community.
Wow. So there's the yearly thing at the ADSS shoot
Yep.
up the SIG,
And
and then there's the Battle
they're
Buddy.
always looking for volunteers to help out up there too.
Right on, man. Right on. That's awesome stuff. So is that related to so I heard about this certification. I forget who does that. There's the certification for helping um, disabled shooters.
Yeah, Richard Cicero. That's who does that. And he's like the head instructor up there for the ADSS thing. He does a lot of I know he does a lot of work with trying to get the rifle braces, the pistol braces. He does a lot of work with that with SIG and like with the other companies trying to get that the government not to take those away from us because those are actually adaptive equipment that help a lot of people. And so he's real big into that. And yeah, he does. We all a bunch of us went down to Florida and took his like NRA disabled shooters instructor course, I guess you'd call it. And that was really good too because I haven't really worked with a lot of other disabled people. And the thing with like disabilities is, yeah, I might be in a wheelchair and you might be in a wheelchair. And like two guys might have the same disability, the same spinal injury, but the way it affects them is going to be different. And so there's not a catch all for everybody. So what that really did is that opened my eyes to like, here's a bunch of different methods to try and depending on what they can do and what can't they do, here's a toolbox for us to work from. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that is sort of universal, like getting tucked into the back. Like if you're right-handed, getting tucked back into the back right side of your wheelchair as much as possible, so you have as much body contact with your chair for support. Like that's a big thing that's super helpful. And so some guys can't do that though. So you just got to see what their abilities are. And that's what that did is gave us a toolbox to work with. The able-bodied guys that were there shooting, they had them kneel on they brought a metal chair over and then they kneeled one knee onto that chair so that it could simulate what being on a prosthetics like when you're shooting because you lose a lot of stability if you're standing on one leg with your knee on a metal chair. And so and then he taught us like ways for people with prosthetics how they can position themselves better to shoot and stuff. So it really was just it's a big toolbox to use for when you get people in to see what you can do to help them out.
Folks, I want to give a very special thank you to the Top Gun Shooting Range in Memphis, Tennessee. This is where I teach personally. We hold permit classes, introductory courses, and advanced handgun self-defense courses. You can also rent guns to shoot on the range, including fully automatic machine guns. Also, in pure Memphis fashion, there's a barbecue restaurant in the building. Top Gun Memphis has 4.9 stars on Google reviews, so if you're in the area, come by and see us. Go to topgunmemphis.com for more info.